It's been, just the joy for me to watch Sarah Huckabee Sanders lead in the state and have as her goal real change, measurable change for the beneficial of our young people, for that next generation, both in their options, capabilities, talent, success of K through 12 education, the engagement and expansion and opportunities in higher ed, and then very, very importantly, something that's been a priority for the state for well over a decade is converting that concept of workforce education to something that really, really works for those graduating from high school that are not immediately headed off to a 4-year college experience. And right here on Arkansas Baptist College, you have a tremendous example of exactly that, what we're doing for young people headed towards both the possibility and success in traditional liberal arts education, sports, but also workforce education. And so our governor has dedicated herself to the expansion and success for real results for real families across the state, no matter what walk of life, what income level, what town, what county, and I'm so grateful for that. I've known her 3 decades, and that's because of my deep affection and work for her dad in the early 1990s. But then we got to be partners in crime back in 2008 when Mike Huckabee woke up one day from a dream and decided he was going to run for president of the United States. And what a campaign he ran. And I got to be there with that night with all the work and effort of Janet and Mike Huckabee and Sarah's leadership, their whole team, a great team, many of whom still work with Sarah today. But I got to be with him that amazing night in Iowa when Mike Huckabee won the Iowa caucus and went on for the horse race in 2008. And so we're now so grateful that our governor and that great 2008 candidate and beyond is our ambassador from the United States, representing the American people in Jerusalem. But Sarah is here because of her commitment to HBCUs, her commitment to higher ed for all Arkansas citizens. And so it's with my pleasure and privilege to introduce my great friend, your governor, the 47th governor of the state of Arkansas, Sarah Sanders.
Good morning. It is great to be here and to join my good friend, Congressman French Hill, for the 2nd year in a row at his HBCU Summit. He does such a tremendous job helping bring dollars back. In fact, I think he has probably delivered more funding for HBCUs than any other person in the state of Arkansas. So thank you, French, for your leadership. He's been the co-chair of the Congressional HBCU Caucus and a great advocate for our state's 4 historically black colleges and universities. Arkansas Baptist, which obviously we are very grateful for their willingness to host this event this year, and who French was instrumental in helping remove all of the debt and infrastructure debt that existed, and because of his leadership of it. And Philander Smith, Shorter College and UAPB, who I see the leadership of these great institutions as well. And thank you for the incredible work each one of you are doing and the great partnership that you see here in this room today. We're also privileged to be joined by a special guest and HBCU graduate, North Carolina Congresswoman Adams. Representative Adams, thank you so much for being in our state. I know that between you and Congressman Hill, you have done great things to really elevate and raise so much awareness and support for HBCUs across the country. And it shows your commitment, but also your friendship that you have, that you show up here in our state. And we are so honored by your presence and thankful for your willingness to be here. And of course, we want to thank all of our HBCU students and leaders that are here in the crowd today, and give a special thanks to our host, Arkansas Baptist President Bill Walker. You know, I've obviously known Congressman Hill for a long time, as he mentioned. I've also known Bill Walker for a really long time. But what I'm saying is these guys have been around for a long time. When my dad was governor and Bill was in the Arkansas State Senate, President Walker surprised quite a few people when he endorsed my dad and actually campaigned for him in Little Rock. It may have been because he thought my dad needed better access to better hairstylists, but he took him around to barber shops and beauty shops all over central Arkansas and introduced him to people and helped campaign and support him. And my family has certainly never forgotten that. And we're glad and excited to see you stepping in and taking on another leadership role here in our state, because I know you're going to do a tremendous job, because you always put people over politics and make sure that you deliver for the people that you serve, and we're grateful that you're here and hosting us today. I also want to say what a privilege it is to have a front row seat to the impact that each of these schools are making here in our state. In 2024, I attended the unveiling of the statue of civil rights leader Daisy Bates in the United States Capitol. And there were a lot of great speeches by, important politicians, but the real star of the show that day was what happened before anybody ever spoke a word. And that was a song from the UAPB and Philander Smith Alumni Choir. I could not imagine a better way for us to elevate that program than with singers from schools that were at the center of activism during the civil rights era. When we hosted a celebration not long ago honoring the Arkansas Governor's Mansion's 75th birthday last fall, we again reached out and leaned on our HBCU talent. And I invited Philander Smith's Alumni Choir to sing the national anthem. We had 5 governors, a former president, a sitting ambassador, but once again, it was that group's music that stole the show. But great singing and music is far from the only thing that our state's 4 HBCUs deliver for our state. Arkansas Baptist alone has produced alumni such as Reverend Joseph Crenshaw, who stood arm in arm with Daisy Bates to help desegregate my alma mater, Little Rock Central High. Louis Jordan, the king of the jukebox in the 40s and the 50s, and Dr. Emerald Crosby, who went on to a struggling high school in Detroit at the height of that city's financial crisis and turned it into a national model of excellence. Generations of Black Arkansans have passed through these halls on their way to changing the world. And we want to make sure our HBCUs stand tall for generations to come. That's why my administration has prioritized and will continue to prioritize investments in these institutions. In my very first budget as governor, I increased funding for UAPB, Arkansas's only land-grant HBCU, by $2 million. We've directed funds from the state's Office of Skills Development to grow nursing programs at several of our HBCUs and want to continue to support these vital programs. We created Arkansas Learns. I see Ken Warden here in the back, the head of higher education for the state of Arkansas, who's doing a tremendous job helping us lead and really expand the work that we're doing in higher education so we deliver the very best for our students. And he's doing a tremendous job. Thank you, Ken. And I see Colonel Nate Todd right behind him, a great person who doesn't blend very well, and we're thankful for that because he's such a great leader for our state, and certainly a great voice on the Board of Trustees for the University of Arkansas. Thank you both for the service that you're doing for Arkansas. But we created Arkansas Learns and Arkansas Access so that we could direct more resources to areas that have long seen a lack of investment. Just this week, in celebration of the 3-year anniversary of the Learns Act, I had the opportunity to visit Merle Taylor Elementary in Jacksonville. Nearly 2/3 of the school students are low income, and thanks to the Learns Act, it has gone from an F rating to a B rating in just 3 years. It is a tremendous success story. And I know Congressman Hill and the rest of the Congressional HBCU Caucus work every day on Capitol Hill to ensure HBCUs nationwide have the resources and support that they need to thrive. It was thanks to his work alongside Representative Adams that in 2019, President Trump signed the Future Act and directed more than $250 million towards our nation's HBCUs. We cannot tell you how much we champion and cheer the success of the work that you're doing and what it means to the state of Arkansas. So thank you again for being here in our state and for continuing to direct resources back. And I want to again thank the leadership of what you are doing and how you are changing the way that our HBCUs are seen, how we are engaging, and the level of cooperation that we have across the state. And we're so thankful for what you're doing, because when we work together and when we come together at the federal level, the state level, and at the leadership of each of these great institutions, our students are the ones who win. And I know we're going to continue to do great things with great cooperation. And so I'm thankful for the opportunity I had to be here today. Thank you again, Congressman Hill, for your incredible leadership. And thank you to each of you for what you're doing to support HBCUs in the state of Arkansas.